All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We are in the middle of discussing the 7 distinctions when dealing with bitachon, how it differs from a person that is a Baal Bitachon and a person that today doesn't have bitachon yet. We had the first distinction we discussed was accepting Hashem's judgment, understanding that what Hashem decrees for us, that's what it's supposed to be. On Friday, we spoke about peace of mind and how having bitachon brings you real clarity and it just brings ease. It's a lot easier to be that way. And today, we're going to talk about how we deal with success and failure, both sides of it. And so the first 2 differences the Rav Av wants to point out is where one's attitude and feelings and his relationships with Hashem. So that's the first 2, they focus on the feelings and his relationship with Hashem. The rest of it, the remaining differences, Rav Av wants to talk about themselves and their actions. And Rav Av says that he speaks about the word sibos, which the word means, in his means of getting something done, whether it's business, whether it's something for his health or for his relationship. And so, but just what we spoke when we started the Perek Hey, Rav Av uses the concept of earning a livelihood as the example, but it's not just for that, so we just keep that in mind. Okay, so the third area of distinction is dealing with success and failure. V'hashlishi, ki habayteach be'elekim ve'im yis'asek b'sibos lo yismach b'libo eleihem. That one who trusts in Hashem, although he does engage in some means of earning a living or achieving other worldly benefits, he does not rely on his heart on those means. Meaning, he doesn't rely on those hishtadlus that he's doing for the outcome. He relies on Hashem. Rather, he engages in worldly means because he chooses to serve Hashem. Who commanded a person to be involved in the world in order to inhabit it and enhance it. So the Rav Av explained, we learned in Perek Gimel, that a person is commanded by Hashem to engage in worldly pursuits. He talks about over here, Hashem put us on this world to inhabit His world and take care of it. And he talks about over there that a person should go about doing his shtadlis. And what over there we spoke about in Perek Gimel, that when you choose an occupation, even when it doesn't go great, we should know that when one goes about doing the proper way of choosing a livelihood, his shtadlis is all he has to do. At the end of the day, the outcome of it is not really up to the specific line of work that he does. It's just that Hashem wants him to do something in order to contribute to this world. Ve'im tagi'eyu te'eles o yidacha behen hanezek. Therefore, if he should attain some benefit or some potential harm, is deflected from him as a result of the means he chooses to employ. So he gives an example: a business that was profitable or a particular remedy helped the sickness. That meaning that he has bitachon in the hishtadlus that he did. That's what Hashem wanted him to do, his job, or he sought certain medical attention or something else. And again, that's just his hishtadlus that he did in order to get ahead. But the outcome is up to Hashem. Therefore, if he should attain some benefit or some potential harm, we said that already, that's what he believes in, that's what he feels in. If he does choose these different methods of business or to seek medical attention or something else, he will thank Hashem alone for this. Meaning that it's not the aspect of what he's doing, it's Hashem that makes it happen. If, for example, his occupation brings him success, he will not develop a greater love and extra affection for this occupation, nor will he have more confidence in it than he did before. So we remember, we spoke about that when you go to choose an occupation, you have bitachon. You went into it with bitachon. Now all of a sudden your business started becoming super successful, you became very wealthy, you became a subject matter expert, and all of a sudden now what happens is, all your success now, you start attributing it a bit, maybe not so much to Hashem, but maybe to yourself. And he starts saying, yes, I'm the subject matter expert. I am what makes this company great. I am amazing at this. And so he says the same way you had bitachon going into this, that Hashem is going to provide you a livelihood. Once you do have a substantial livelihood, don't change your mindset and start thinking for 1 second that this had to do anything with you. This is all Hashem. Hashem has to do ishtadlus, and you were lucky enough, for whatever reason, you were zoicha, that you were successful. Yichazik b'tuchoynei belekim. To the contrary, that if he is successful, that he should strengthen his trust in Hashem, v'yismach liboy olav mibal adei hasibos, and let his heart rely on him without reference to the means through which his success came about. So he says that to ensure that he does not get carried away with his occupation, that he shouldn't that it shouldn't go to his head, he should strengthen his emunah bitachon in Hashem, and he should realize even more that this is all because of Hashem. The same way, day one, when he got into it, when he had nothing, and he chose an occupation, and he had bitachon, that Hashem is leading him in the right direction, and at the end of the day he was super successful. Even when he's successful, he should continue with that same mindset. He shouldn't go back and put even 1% of thought to say, maybe it has to do a little bit with my abilities in my company. No. That is the way you treat it. If one, on the other hand, the occupation in which he engages does not bring him the desired benefit of earning a living, he knows and trusts that his livelihood will come to him whenever Hashem wants, and through whichever avenue he wants. At this point we mentioned at the beginning, at the start of Rav Av, he says that a person should be confident that his livelihood would come to him in some manner, which implies that Hashem will definitely send him his sustenance. We spoke about that Hashem promises and give every single person his basic sustenance. So don't start thinking, even if your business has a downturn, there's some hard times, 2024 was difficult for everybody. Don't start having doubts right now. You chose an occupation, you did well with your occupation, now you have a little downturn, you're starting to worry that maybe it's not. The same mindset you had in the good times, it was easy for you to say, oh, Hashem, I love Hashem. Well, thank you, Hashem. That same mindset has to come when there's difficult times as well. Those mindsets shouldn't leave you the same way it doesn't leave you because you strengthened yourself, that when you did well, you still had full bitachon and that the outcome was fully Hashem and had nothing to do with you. The same way it comes when there's a downturn. Don't start doubting yourself either. In the second of the distinctions we spoke about, the person who only believes in himself, that when he's doing well, he's not happy because he thinks he could do better. When he's doing bad, he's not happy because he thinks it's him. So this brings into here as well. You have to believe that even in the downturns, and not just believe and understand, have full bitachon, this is up to Hashem, this is what's going on. Accordingly, he will not become disgusted with his occupation he chose because of his lack of success. I mean, he won't start feeling, maybe I chose the wrong occupation, maybe I chose the wrong business to get into. It's such a tough thing. We spoke about in Perek Gimel, we spoke about that every business has its hurdles. There's no business that at some point or another doesn't come across some difficulties and times, whether it's a industry-wide, whether it's a business as a whole. We do our best as people, what we feel, we do our ishtadlus to get involved and to restructure ourselves as our mindset, our companies, in order to do well. But at the end of the day, you can't run away from the outcome. That's what bitachon is. If Hashem doesn't want you to have, go run to something else, it's not going to be any better. And if Hashem really wants you to have, running to something else is not going to make it better either over there. Just stick to it. And now, as it's been the trend with he talks about the flip side. But as for a person who does not trust in Hashem, he engages in worldly means because he relies on them for benefit. His business is him, his everything is him, and everything has to do with his business and his abilities. Or to deflect harm from him, and all these things in order for his health and his sustenance. Accordingly, he behaves in the opposite manner of the person that we described above, who's a Baal Bitachon. If he turns out that the occupation he chose brings him benefit, he praises it and praises his diligence in it. He's going to talk about it. He goes, yeah, my occupation, my business, I do this and I'm great at this. This is all me. He becomes excited about his occupation and he will not give consideration to any other. And if on the other hand, the occupation he chooses does not turn out as beneficial for him as he thought it would be, he will abandon it. He runs away, pushes it away, and he becomes disgusted with it. And he loses interest in it. The Pasuk says, therefore he sacrifices it to his net and burns incense in his trawl. It talks about over there that a fisherman, the net and trawl represent his strength and his techniques, to which he attributes his success. Instead of offering thanks to Hashem, he pays homage to his skill. He says, oh, this is my skill and my equipment that makes it happen well. And so it's important to understand and to really internalize and to bring into us. A Baal Bitachon has to have Bitachon all the time. When you're doing well, you have to understand that this is not you. You have to understand that this is Hashem. Don't put even 1% and say, you're the person who made this happen. We don't. We emphasize it so many times in every single aspect. When we go about doing a doctor should never have the say in his mind, say, wow, my abilities saved this person's life. No. Like Rav Av says, you're a moron and you're an ignoramus. It's Hashem that saved this person's life. You're truly just a shaliach because that's what Hashem wants you to do. You're hishtadlus. And it's the same thing for us as people, and whether it's our business, whether it's our careers, whether it's in our relationships with our spouses, our children, our family, whether it's for davening for everything that we need in our life. Because money is not the only thing. And again, Rav Av emphasizes on the concept of financial well-being because it's something that he uses as the example. But it belongs to any part of us. We should remember that bitachon that we have in the good times, is the same bitachon we need to have in the bad times. And just on the flip side of that, the same time, there's so much bitachon that we have that when we're doing horrible, we feel that everything is against us and we have so much, when we rely fully on Hashem. We just say, Hashem, I let go, I give you, you just do you. When things become better, that's the same exact answer. Don't start relying a little bit on your capabilities of your career, of your business. It's not. The same way you had bitachon when you were down, it's the same bitachon when you were up. And the same bitachon you have when you were up, that when you do succeed in reaching that level, that you have full bitachon in Hashem, that everything is up to Him, and when you're down sometimes, also have that bitachon. Don't lose sight of that bitachon. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I wish you have a wonderful day. And before we conclude, I just want to say real quick that the shiur should be b'schus Lilu Nishmas Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, L'Refu Shalema Meshulam ben Sarachel, L'Refu Shalema Ruchama Rivka bas Rachel, and Miriam bas Sarah, L'Refu Shalema. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and I love you all.